Hey y'all, sorry I can't be there with you today, but here is a quick video that, well, I don't know how quick it'll be, hopefully under 10 minutes, that will sort of show you what's going on today and what will be a good use of your time. So first, ooh, I hope my face will stay in. Well, we'll see if it disappears. I don't know. But anyway, what you're going to work on today is your resume. We started talking about this last class, but today you're going to have pretty much the whole period to just work on it. And so, because you're having the whole period to work on it, I'm going to expect you to submit your first draft sort of early next week. We'll talk on Monday and sort of see where we're at. You'll submit a first draft so I can give you some feedback and you can make revisions. Because you're going to be giving this resume to be evaluated to one of our guest evaluators when they come on in. uh, which I will also give you details about the time for that. It's probably going to be, I have to communicate with people, but it's probably going to be Wednesday of not this upcoming week, but the following week. Cool. Okay, so your goal for today is you should complete or mostly complete your first draft resume. If you already have a resume, then you should be revising it based on the things we're about to talk about. This is also a reminder that you need to turn in the article of the week today. You can do that up in the front of the classroom, staple it together, and you can put it up there. And then your first quarter reading reflection is due Sunday, 10 p.m. on Google Classroom. So I suppose you could work on this today during class as well if you would prefer, but resumes is probably the best use of your time. Cool. Okay, let's talk resume. I'm going to send this to your email. This is, you'll remember Mr. Krazitz's college essay guide. This is way more thorough, specifically for resumes. You'll see here it has a whole table of contents. These are also linked too, so if you were sort of confused about bullet points, you could click on this writing good bullet point descriptions, and then boom, it'll take you right down there. Okay, so what I'd like to do is kind of as quickly as I can, talk through the major elements of this document. I would very, very highly encourage you to just jot down some basic notes, basic ideas as you're watching along. You can, of course, always pause the video. But my main goal is to give you a tour of this document so that you can then go forth and start writing your resume in class today. And I think you should be able to get at least like 75-ish% done, if not fully. Okay, so if we take a brief skim through the table of contents, right, there's going to be a little bit about the purpose. The part of it is about content, like your education, your experience, what's a good bullet point description look like if you have honors and awards. We're going to talk about form as well. We spoke about this a little bit last class. And then we'll talk about, wrapping things up. And then if you look down here, I have provided a sort of resume template. I'm not a huge fan of templates because they usually very obviously look like templates. I think this one is, kind of pretty basic and straightforward and doesn't too obviously look like a template. So you're welcome to use this if you want, but you can also mess around with your own ideas. This has some tips on like how to get started. I'm not sure how to start. Here you go. This is a big list of strong verbs and action verbs that you should use for your bullet points. And then down here at the bottom, I have some annotated resumes. These are basically resumes that like I scribbled on and took notes on and gave some like feedback to, so you can kind of see what that might look like. If you click this, it'll give you the basic resume template. You're going to have to make a copy of this document. And then you can go in and make your own sort of version, and you can modify and tweak things. Again, this is not like a perfect thing, but it is, it is a place to get started if you're unsure how you want to design your resume. Okay, purpose of resumes, very quickly. These are used by job recruiters, hiring managers, people to see like, hey, is this person at all kind of qualified for this job? Should we bring them into an interview? Oftentimes people will go through a ton of resumes very quickly, right? They don't read every single word, and that's why the form is important, that it looks clean, it looks easy to read, because a person needs to just quickly skim it, get the basic idea, and decide like, should this person come in or no? It's the thing that gets you in the door, right? It's the thing that gets you the interview, where then you actually get to show up and talk to people. It should also definitely only be one page. Even if you have more things, you got to prioritize and pick the best ones, one page. Cool. Okay, let's talk about content. So you're definitely going to have an education section in your resume. This has all the different pieces, right? You're going to have your name of your high school, town, state, graduation year. Your GPA is a little bit tricky. If it's a solid GPA, yeah, you should totally put it on there. If your GPA is pretty low, you have to sort of make the decision: do you want to put it on or leave it off? Um, the relevant coursework sort of depends on if you're applying for a specific job, like some sort of design related job, and you took classes at Albany or at community colleges about design. Like then, yeah, for sure you could put related coursework. But that'll just depend on the job you're applying to. Honors and clubs, if you have things like that, you could put those here. Um, but you should read this section. Here's some examples just from different like sample resumes. You can kind of see what they look like, right? Education, the high school graduation date, GPA, that kind of stuff. This one does the like relevant coursework, honors, clubs. Okay, work experience. This is definitely a big important section. This is where you're going to show your skills. It's where you're going to show that you can do this or do that. It's going to show that you're good at communicating with people and working on a team and whatever. And the bullet points are really where you're going to be hitting that hard. So you're going to have the position title, right? You were head waiter or you were counselor in training. You're going to have the name and the location of the place you worked, and then the time range of how you worked there. Let's just jump down and take a look. You can kind of see what that looks like at the end, right? So here's the name of the place, the job title, and then the bullet points. And then they did it over here, like where it was and how long they were there, right? This one puts it over here. So there's no like one tried and true, like it has to look like XYZ, but it should look something kind of like this. Okay, let's talk what goes in here. This will get you started brainstorming if you're kind of stuck. Right, consider two questions about a job or a volunteer experience or an internship or something like that, right? What did you do and what kinds of qualities or skills could you show, right? So these are generally some skills that most people care about in the job world, right? If you can communicate, if you can act as in leadership in some way, if you have time management, if you can handle stressful situations, right? So like again, you're not gonna write like handled stressful situations, but you're gonna like show in the bullet points how you were able to do that. Cool. Okay, writing good bullet point descriptions. We talked about this last class, so this should be review. You want to start with strong verbs. See section 7 way at the bottom for a whole big list of strong verbs. Most people put 2 to 4-ish bullet points per job. It's better to have fewer, but they're dense, rather than have like 10, but they're all like very, just a couple words and not very descriptive. You typically do these in the past tense. So, you organized, blah, 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 or you assisted, blah, blah, blah. Get quantitative if you can. We talked about that last class. See the example here. The results, we talked about that last class. See the examples here. And then this section you can read. It's basically about like thinking about when you're applying to a specific job, what kinds of skills are they going to want you to have and how can you show those? But this is better when you have a specific job in mind. Okay, you can take a look. You should definitely look at these, right? The sort of weak to stronger examples, bullet points, right? Took care of 12-year-olds during daycare program. Not bad. But here is more specific. We get an action verb and we get a sort of a better picture of what you did. Supervised 15, 12-year-olds during a daycare program, leading full class games as well as settling students for nap time. Cool, better, right? That shows me that you can be in charge of a bunch of kids, that you can sort of help them relax and, shows me a level of competence. Helped customers with problems that came up. Super vague. Helped is like all right, but it's kind of vague, right? Addressed customer concerns with a relaxed demeanor and de-escalated concerns when necessary. Cool, that's a little bit better. I like that. Cool. You can see more examples here, and here are some more examples of this section bullet points. Looks like I got 30 seconds. Honors and awards. If you have things that could go in this category, you should read this section. If you don't have things that go in this category, skip it. Okay, I think I'll pause here and make part 2 to talk about the visual hierarchy, and I'm almost done. So stay with me. Check out the second link that'll be in your email.